Good morning. The Board of Missions is once again doing its, sorry about that, collection of school supplies.
It's okay. He'll turn it down.
School supplies for the, I have to get this straight, multilingual learners. That's a mouthful. And there's a list that was in the caller this week, and it will be for a couple weeks. I have a couple extra copies if you want. I'll leave them in this bag. We're going to have this bag here every Sunday, and there's one at church also for you to put your stuff in. Staples and I believe Walmart and other places started the back to school sales like the week after school ended, excuse me. So they've got things like 50-cent crayons and stuff like that. So you can get a lot of the things that are on this list from there. You can either buy a few things, or you can buy the whole list and bring them in, or maybe you can pair with one or two other people and say, okay, I'll get this, you get that type thing to share the expense. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Missions. Thank you, Judy, for putting that together again. That's been an ongoing thing that we've been doing, and thank you so much for organizing that. I have the announcement. I think it was in the blast. I put it on pink so I'd remember it. So Preble Street, 7 days a week, feeds people lunch and kind of a parking lot area downtown Portland. And if they don't have help passing out the food, then the Preble Street employees do it, but then they can't interact with the clients as much as the people who come to need it. So it was First Parish UU who said, well, we do it twice a week. Can we get some other churches to help them out? There were 2 days that were open yet, and it was it's Monday and Wednesday. It looks like St. Luke's in Portland is going to take the Wednesdays. What I said was, could a group of us churches each take a week a month? Like doing, every Monday, every week would be a lot. And so some of the other churches were trying to get that together. It's from 12:15 to 1:30 in downtown Portland. You can take the bus, or we can carpool together or something like that. I just need like 3 to 4 people. And we can do it once a month. We'll pick the week, whether it's the second week or third week or whatever like that. But if you're interested, let me know. I'm making a list. I figure when I get to 6, we have enough to rotate through and cover for each other. So let me know if you're interested in that. Again, our job really is to take containers of food and hand them to people who are standing in line. That is ours. But it really does allow Preble Street to then do its work of really interacting with the clients. And a friendly face is always good. I remember yesterday I was out again and, going to Trader Joe's and thinking and stuff, and the people that are lined up asking for food. But smiling, just even smiling makes a difference. You've acknowledged their presence. They are human beings among us. So I figured that's, so if you're interested, let me know. We'll try to get to 6 on that and see if we can take a week, and work with, and then other churches will take other weeks too. So, I'm leaving on Wednesday. I'm here Wednesday. I'm gone Wednesday through Tuesday, on vacation. Luca will be preaching this coming Sunday. And if you need anything, you can contact Luca. I think I can be gotten a hold of. I'm going to Cobscook State Park, and then over to New Brunswick. I'm going to stay at Fundy National Park actually one night too. I'm going to try that. So I don't know what I've got for cell reception, but we can give a whirl. 0, pretty sketchy. That's what I figure. So yeah. Okay. Any other announcements that we have? One more. Okay. Oh, yes, we got something coming this Friday.
This Friday night, Ryan Slocum, my daughter Morgan, and myself will be doing a concert at the church at 6:30 p.m. And Morgan will be here next Sunday, Morgan will be here encoring a couple of the pieces.
All right. Nice. Wonderful. Okay. So I think that's in the blast, right? The time and everything's in the blast for Friday night?
Send it to Luca.
Oh, you think you saw it in the blast? Okay. Luca picks things up on Sunday, even if we don't send them in sometimes.
I did send it to her. I think it was too late for the Wednesday blast. I think I sent it in Wednesday night or something.
Okay. Well, it looks like it got in, so we'll see. Whoops. Yeah. Okay.
But it's 6:30 on Friday.
6:30 on Friday. Perfect. All right. All right. Let's gather together and let's worship. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you come with, and wherever you are going, you are seen, you are heard, you are welcome. you have always belonged. We open this gathering with an acknowledgement of the lands, waters, creatures, plants, and peoples whose being is bound up with our own in mutual dependence. For thousands of years, indigenous people have walked on this land on their own land. Their relationship with the land is at the center of their lives. We acknowledge these lands upon which we worship as the ancestral, cultural, traditional, and unceded lands of the Wabanaki Confederacy. We commit ourselves to the work of dismantling the ongoing legacies of settler colonialism. And please join me in our first hymn that's in the back of your bulletin. Please stand if you're able. We'll sing The Gift of Love. Gracious God, we indeed gather in love, in your love, to be love in this world. Be with us as we gather here, as we talk together, as we listen in silence. God, let us hear your love everywhere. All this we ask in your name. Amen. You may be seated. And I thought we had one. Did she go off and play? Yes, oh good. Oh, they're good. Okay, together. Oh, I see. Yep, oh, they're both. You brought them both. Okay. They know how to play together, right? Sorry, nobody signed up this week, so yeah. But let's still bless them anyway. These are the children we have been given to love. All right. And we have Meister Eckhart this morning. I had an interesting experience this week, you guys. I was knitting in my knitting group. And there were some women there that, I don't know, we got talking about something, weren't we? Bev was there too. And we made a joke about, spiritually on gauge. It was a T-shirt. And Bev goes, oh, you need that one, you know. And the women are like, why? And I'm like, well, because I'm kind of the minister, you know, the church over there. And then we got talking about what we were doing, the mystics and everything. And I had to, like, on my feet, remember the definition of what a mystic was. You know, and I'm like, hold it, it's like Thursday, I'm off now, you know. But they got talking about it. People are always, they're always a little fascinated that when they figure out I'm the minister, they're like, you? You know, like, we don't see it. And then it got okay when we joked about me being arrested. Then they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, you know how it goes. And one woman just kept saying, I may have to change my mind about church. And I'm thinking, if we could only hope. But it reminded me to put that definition of mystic back in my head, and especially because of Meister Eckhart. But the definition that we're using is a union with God is their purpose. and a special kind of union. I didn't use that, a personal relationship with Jesus Christ that, a lot of us may have grown up with. That's one word, just in case you were wondering. But this idea of a union with God, and often using nature to see that and feel that, but it's definitely an experience, like an ongoing experience that they do. So Meister Eckhart, I'm going to get my notes out here a minute. The big thing about Meister Eckhart was that he was convicted of heresy. He was tried and convicted with heresy, and that most of his writings were burned by the Catholic Church. And it's so interesting because one of the first things that when I read about him was he was such a good writer and speaker that he actually helped to evolve the German language. And you think about that. I am not surprised then that he got convicted for heresy, because certain people want to control certain things. And when someone who is, even though he was a Dominican, was not going to be controlled, people just were drawn to him. They actually said he was that perfect combination of priest and professor. And he could do both. And often you do one or the other. You rarely can do both. And he was. So he had an ability for clarity and also divine revelation. A lot of people said his writings were really divine revelation. Again, a reason to bring him up and to call him a heretic, because that gave him a lot of power, though he was never a person that went with that. They gave him a lot of power, though. It was very interesting. He was a professor numerous times. He'd go back and be professors. First, he led what the Dominicans call a convent, but the male thing, yeah? 1260 to 1328. Okay. And then he was eventually given, he was the head of even larger and larger regions. People were just drawn to him and to his, I would say, gentle ways of doing things. I want to read you this little piece of what he said about the Trinity. And again, reason why he was brought up on heresy charges. Is this not a holy Trinity? The firmament, the earth, our bodies. And is this not an act of worship? To hold a child, to till the soil, and lift a cup. And communion. First seek that from your lover's soil before anything offered from a priest. I know, right? Hence the heretic, right? Don't you think? Right? So that is Meister Eckhart that we've got. So yeah, I know. So his big thing was the contemplation of who God says God is. Using the Bible, but also what is around us. Not who else tells us, not who someone tells us God is. But that this, Meister Eckhart thought we could really experience who God is. All right? And remember at that time, especially through the Catholic Church, a lot of that was supposed to be mediated. All right? That's the real issue, that came up. But it's to Meister Eckhart, it was about sublime experiences and compassionate understanding. That was big. So he did die the year after his trial, his heresy trial. He wasn't killed, but he did die. As I said, most of his writings were suppressed and or destroyed. In the 1880s, 2 Latin manuscripts were found. So that's what we've got from him. And in 1980, 100 years later, the Dominican order started pressing for him to really be seen as a mystic and a priest, and to really, bring him back in sense and take away all of that. There's always lots about love. That's the reason we started with the gift of love this morning, to talk about it. And you'll see in one of his, he talks about wild love. Not cultivated, not controlled, but wild like nature. And that love is freeing, and that's what love is supposed to do. And that's why we're starting this morning with the story of the bent over woman. Now, Jesus was teaching in one of those synagogues on the Sabbath, and just then there appeared a woman with a spirit that had crippled her for 18 years. She was bent over and quite unable to stand up straight. When Jesus saw her, he called her over and said, "Woman, you are set free from your ailment." When he laid his hands on her, immediately she stood up straight and began praising God. But the leader of the synagogue, indignant because Jesus had cured on the Sabbath, kept saying to the crowd, "There are 6 days on which work ought to be done. Come on those days to be cured, not on the Sabbath day." But Jesus answered him and said, "You hypocrites! Does not each of you on the Sabbath untie an ox or his donkey from the manger and lead it to water? And ought not this woman, a daughter of Abraham and Sarah and Hagar, whom Satan bound for 18 long years, be set free from this bondage on a Sabbath day?" And when he said this, all of his opponents were put to shame, and the entire crowd was rejoicing at the wonderful things being done by him. I think they were rejoicing that the other ones got put to shame, actually. Don't you think? But that idea, you hear the control in that? Like, don't come and get healed on the Sabbath. Like, this day is so holy that, or so controlled by us, that freeing people, right? Healing people shouldn't even be done there. What? Isn't that just the day? That should be our first day for healing. So this one, I thought of that story when I thought of Meister Eckhart, this idea that love should free and that God's wild love cannot be contained, that it is as wonderful as this. I've been saying this to people all week. It was weird Sunday being back in the church. It was too quiet. There were no birds singing. There were no trees, leaves rustling, and that wildness, right, that we experience here is just so wonderful. And how can we use our love to free? So our first one this week is going to be the first one that starts, they entitled it "When I Was in the Forest," but it starts "When I Was in the Stream." So if y'all would, I don't know if you grabbed pens again, if you grabbed a pen or something, if there's something in here that really strikes you, just put a little check or circle it or whatever. And then I've got some questions for us. But just breathe in as we hear these words for us this morning. When I was the stream, when I was the forest, when I was still the field, when I was every hoof, foot, fin, and wing, when I was the sky itself. No one ever asked me, did I have a purpose? No one ever wondered, was there anything I might need? For there was nothing I could not love. It was when I left all we once were that the agony began. The fear and questions came, and I wept. And tears I had never known before. So I returned to the river. I returned to the mountains. I asked for their hand in marriage again. I begged to wed every object and creature. And when they accepted, God was ever present in my arms. And God did not say, "Where have you been?" For then I knew my soul, and every soul, has always held God. I'm going to read that one more time. And remember, Meister Eckhart is talking about himself. I realize as I start reading this, are we thinking that this is about God? No, this is about us. So I'm going to read it one more time. When I was the stream, when I was the forest, when you all were still the field, when each of us was every hoof, foot, fin, and wing, when we all were the sky itself. No one ever asked each of us, "Do you have a purpose?" No one ever wondered, "Was there anything you need?" For there was nothing I could not love. It was when I left all we once were that the agony began. The fear and questions came, and I wept. I wept. And tears I had never known before. So let's return to the river. Let's return to the mountains. Let's ask for their hand in marriage again and beg to wed every object and creature they have already accepted. God is ever present in our arms. And God will never say, "Where have you been?" For then we know in our souls that every soul has always held God. All right. Find someone next to you to tell them, or around you, you may have to get up, what struck you in this piece that he wrote. Go. All right, I'll sit down by you. Oh, can you turn me off? Did you turn me off? Okay. struck you? Ooh, golly. That he was.
And that was in, I thought of a child
Mm-hmm.
who becomes a part of their environment.
Yep, a child who
And
becomes.
as they grow up, they or in their environment puts pressure on them.
Okay, it's like a child who's a part of everything, and then as their environment pushes them in different directions, puts pressure on them, and you feel separate. Yep.
It should say species on here.
Species?
It says, regardless of race, species create.
Species.
It should say that.
That's true in our inclusive section, right?
Because he's right there.
He's right there. He's included. Yep. Anybody else?
The word purpose just jumped right out at me.
Ah, what about that?
And I'm so sick of hearing about purpose-driven lives.
Nice, yes.
Purpose was to love.
Yep,
And why do we need any other purpose than that?
there you go.
Amen.
Yeah. When we like holler when you get finished working on that purpose, right? Yeah. And you never will, right? Right. Yeah. Anybody else? What did you think about the whole thing of God was ever present in my arms? Does that sound wrong?
Yeah, usually it's the other way around.
Aha. What about if we think this way?
God is in us,
Yeah.
He's in everything.
But that God has always been, and it's almost like God is laughing and saying, well, and God did not say, where have you been, right? But this, God was ever present in my arms. Flip that idea of being held rather than holding. What does that do? That's exactly the look I want you guys to have. Huh? Like, that's going to stick, and think about it, right? It's no right answers. It's just, what are we going to think about? But think about that idea. And really, and then he repeats it. For I knew my soul, every soul, had always held God. There's that held again.
That just makes me think of people say, oh, dogs, they don't have soul. They don't think, they don't feel. Like, no, these animals do.
Yep. But what does it mean that we hold that? That we hold whatever God is, however you define that. What does it mean that we hold that? Okay. Let's go to our next one. So many souls. This starts with a great question. Okay? And you're going to have to answer this question. That's going to be your first thing, okay, to somebody else. When were you last really happy? Let that experience ferment. Bring it to mind once in a while. Surely in the genesis of that past moment when you danced, you would not have wanted a constable to have knocked on your door or have said, you have just entered restricted ground. Why are there so many stars and souls with no end in sight for them? Because nothing can interrupt God when God is having fun creating. These are how Daniel Ladinsky translated them. But I haven't read one of these things that we've been in translation, that we've read in translation, that, and I'm sure he took some liberty with them, but I'm thinking if Meister Eckhart would be sitting here, Meister would be going, that's good. Oh, really? I got to say that? Woohoo! Like, I think what Ladinsky did well is captured the spirit and the essence of these two. But yes, I mean, these are, danced, yes. When y'all read the word danced in these things, they use the word dance. There's a sensualness in this, which is what often got them into trouble, right? Because we're supposed to be, not so much, right? Yeah, the frozen chosen, right? But so that question, and look at this this is what I want you guys to talk about. When was the last time you were really happy? And that thing that gets paired with is God having fun creating. How can your happiness be a sign that God is having fun creating? That's a union there. All right, find somebody else to talk to about that. When's the last time you were really happy? And what does that mean to be in union? Oh, man. They're going to split up. Yep. Okay, so I'll sit with you.
I'm just trying to think of. It's not often that I'm not happy.
You are a pretty happy person.
Because I'm simple.
I don't think so. I think you're determined to be happy.
How about you?
I think I'm, let me turn myself off here. He didn't. Bubbles make Beverly happy. Anybody else a happy? What's a happy? In the garden, when you're in the garden, all right? When you went and saw fireworks. And what makes you happy about seeing that?
The lights and the brightness and all that. We were on a boat, so all the boats had as many lights as the fireworks.
The boats had as many lights as the fireworks, and that was just seeing all of that. What else? Happy?
Sebago Lake yesterday.
Sebago Lake yesterday.
A boat.
On a boat. Just being there, huh?
It's a spiritual adventure.
It's a spiritual adventure. I like that. I like that.
Kind of weird.
Uh-huh.
So I'll start with that right away.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to send the bubbles to the girls. Hey, girls, you want the bubbles? You want the bubble machine? You guys take the bubble machine, okay? You want to play with the bubbles? Okay, take those. Puh, puh, puh. I just got them in my mouth, okay? You can put them in the shade and run through them if you want. How's that, okay? I'm eating.
To me, I think happiness is a subjective thing,
Uh-huh.
and I was saying to Therese, there have been times in my life when I have not thought of myself as happy, but when I look back over that period of time, I realized that I was really happy. And when I think the time that I specifically can think about is when my dad was living with us and he was dying of ALS.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I was really angry. I was the last of 5 kids. It was put on me. My other siblings just said, oh, not my problem. And at the time, I thought I was really, really angry about it. But when he passed, I realized he gave me the greatest gift anybody could ever give me, was the ability to love somebody totally unconditionally, which even in marriage, I don't think I accomplished that. I'll be honest with you.
The things you learn, Jeff, huh? I'm right here. I can hear you.
But, you know, to be able to love totally and completely without any conditions or selfishness. And then I thought, I was really happy because I was with him and I was able to love him in that manner. And I don't always think that we think happiness is dancing or joy. Happiness is sometimes, I can't articulate it
Mm.
because it's so big.
Oh, it's so big. Oh, that's interesting.
It's so big.
Can't divine it because it's so big. Yep. Oh, okay. Thank you, Leah, and for your confession there, too. We'll do marriage counseling later. Did you have something? Oh, the eagle stories? I was there for one of them.
I was there for the other one.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You got to see one too, I heard, didn't you? Eagles over the lake. I saw a baby duck being carried away as dinner. And you, what did you get to see?
It swooped down, and the sound of the wings,
Oh, hearing the sound of the wings.
and then it swooped back up again, and
Yeah.
then it came right back. It was wild.
Yeah,
I mean, it was wild.
it was wild. They are. Those bald eagles are wild, aren't they? Yep. Wild is wonderful. Yep. Yep. Wild love that surprises you, can break your heart. You know, the mama duck, trust me, knew she lost a baby. Yep. It can break your heart and it can make it sore too. Yep. Anyone else?
Anytime I can be at the ocean, any time of year.
Any time of year, anytime you can be at the ocean. All right. That's the happy.
Rusty and I both have gatherings.
Oh, with friends and family. Yep. Present. Yep. Present with others. That's a happy. Yep. Tom.
The other day, Ron and I were sitting on our back of the house, and in our backyard there are several trees that have been there since we built the house. The one that's nearest the deck is as old as these maples,
Yeah.
but it's not a nice maple like these. It's just an old swamp maple. It was there when we built the house.
Yep.
Very tall. It's old. It's probably near the end of its life, and it has struggled over the years. But he's having a good year this year.
Swamp maple having a good year, huh?
At one point, Rhonda said, look how blue the sky is. And I leaned back in my chair, and I was able to look up through his leaves, which are bright, beautiful, big green leaves this year,
Yeah.
into the bluest of the blue sky. And I was very happy.
Yeah. Yeah. And imagine the sky and the tree being married together. You know, they are together in that. Yeah. Wonderful. So beautiful through the green trees having a good year. All right. We're going to go on to, I'm going to jump. I know we're getting close to time here, but I want to do the always kissing. Okay. This is near the end. We got a few at the end. They are always kissing. They can't control themselves. It is not possible that any creature can have greater instincts and perceptions than the mature human mind. God ripened me So I see it as true. All objects in existence are wildly in love. Now, what I want you to think of is something you're going to try to look at this week. Two things together and see them as wildly in love. And not people. All right? Not people. What? Because it says all objects in existence wildly in love, are wildly in love. What do we need to see that is wildly in love? What are you going to look for?
Okay, going back to the ocean, the water and the sand.
Mm,
Caressing.
always caressing. Nice.
Watching the not so pretty weed. What is the weed that the bees like and the butterflies?
Milkweed.
Outside, I let it grow outside my bedroom window,
Yep.
and watching the butterfly go cuckoo on the milkweed flower for an hour. That butterfly stayed there and just did its thing, and that was wild.
But think of that as those two being wildly in love.
Yes.
Like, again, why are we talking this on Sunday morning, right? The clouds and the sky, that they're just not floating, that they are wildly in love.
Thunder and lightning.
Thunder and lightning being wildly in love together. They're having quite a conversation, aren't they? There's a lot. They're not quiet. Right? Birds and trees. We think of everything as so utilitarian, don't we? Oh, a bird builds a nest in a tree, or what? But what if they're wildly in love, and that's why they're spending time together? A hummingbird and a feeder, or the hummingbird and my fuchsia plant, because I got a hummingbird that cannot resist my fuchsia plants, right? They're not just coming to feed; they are wildly in love.
Two garter snakes,
Ooh,
pretty big,
uh-huh.
and they're on one side of my front step or the other, and they're always like intertwined.
They're always intertwined.
I can't tell everybody they're there because a lot of people are like,
But how does that change? I wanted to, like, this is your job this week, is how does it change your view of things when you see two things as wildly in love? You know, we usually use that for what, teenagers or when people first meet or, yeah. But what about if we talk that way all the time? And what if we say that about God with us? We say a lot, that God loves us, whatever that means. But do we say God is wildly in love with us? Wildly loves us. That means there's no rules. It's just in their nature to do that. All right, that's one. I want to read you about the little burro because I put the little burro on because this is our love freeze things. All day long, a little burro labors, sometimes with heavy loads on her back, and sometimes just with worries about things that bother only burros. Does that sound familiar to anyone at all? And worries, as we know, can be more exhausting than physical labor. Once in a while, a kind monk comes to her stable and brings a pear. But more than that, he looks into the burro's eyes and touches her ears, and for a few seconds the burro is free and even seems to laugh, because love does that. Love frees. What are you worrying about? What weighs you down more than physical labor? This week, I want you to look for a pear that is being offered to you. I want you to feel someone rub your ears. But imagine, and it's fun to rub ears too, isn't it? You know, ears of dogs or cats or burros. You know, that idea of, and if you do it to dogs, they get this look on their face, don't they? They're like, "Of course I love you. Keep doing it," right? But let yourself take that pear. Let yourself feel your ears be rubbed. And feel that freedom, even if it just lasts a moment. The good news is that's always there. Always. Okay, the last one, which is a good question for us. How long will grown men and women in this world keep drawing in their coloring books an image of God that makes them sad? What's interesting about this piece?
That they had coloring books in there.
1,200.
Maybe that was one of the liberties.
That's good. But that's what I wanted you to think. But look at the juxtaposition. Grown men and women and coloring books.
Don't color outside those lines.
Mm-hmm. But how silly are we, right? That this is we are grown people, and what are we using our coloring books for? For sadness and control. Why are we doing? They're coloring books, for goodness sakes. Don't think of them like we give children coloring books. What's the problem with coloring books that we give to children all the time? Pardon me? The picture's already there, right? And we tell them to color inside the lines. We need a sketchbook instead that's empty. That's what we need. But why? And we have our sketchbook. Our life is our sketchbook. It's not a coloring book, it's a sketchbook. But why do we keep coloring in that sketchbook that is our life an image of God that makes us sad? Because you're right, the church projects that, right? It's control.
Fear is one of the pillars of our society.
Fear, right?
That's true.
Yep.
One time my brother colored a tree trunk red.
A real tree trunk?
The whole tree trunk was red. and
The picture.
told him that he had to draw another one and make it black because that's what colored trees
That's what color trees are. What does that teach us?
I know he did not like it.
Good. And you know what? That was a lot of years ago, and you even remember that story. He was heartbroken. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we color pictures, draw pictures that make us sad?
Get a bigger God.
Get a bigger God. Get a wilder God. Get a more passionate God.
One here that says nothing can interrupt God when God is having fun creating.
That's right. There you go. There you go. Was why is that your last name is Wilder? That's what we need to be, a little wilder, little wilder. All right, thank you, Meister Eckhart, for taking us some places. I didn't read all of them. I always put in there more than we're going to use, because I never know how many I've got, how much time I've got on Sunday morning. But also there, so there's more for you to use. Okay.
When I first looked at it,
Yeah.
Maestro Eckhart is our maestro of Portland.
Oh, really? Of the Portland? Yeah.
Looked at it, oh my God.
oh, how'd he become a mystic, right? So he's the maestro, but this is Meister Eckhart. Yes, yeah, you got to be very German to get this one right. Yeah, I love it. I love it. What it reminds us of. All right, we have shared with each other, and that is an amazing gift. To share with each other, to talk with each other, to think in different ways. And that's why we give together too. Our offering is not so that we color within the lines. If I can say that is one of my purposes as your pastor, is to help us color outside the lines, or say, you know what, I think we're going to lay that coloring book down, and we're just going to get a big blank sheet of paper, and we're going to start. And we're going to see what we draw together as generous hearts and gifts. So we give so that in our coloring, in our way that is God's wild love, others may know that love. So let's give together and let's sing. Let all things their Creator bless, and worship God in humbleness. Alleluia, alleluia. Praise, praise the Lord who gives us birth, redeeming, giving life its worth. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Loving God, indeed, we offer the gifts that we have. We offer our whole lives. We also offer what keeps us too small, what keeps us in between lines, that doesn't let us see that trees really are red. That hummingbirds and flowers have had a long love affair, and they could sure teach us something. Gracious God, teach us in our giving to be wildly in love with all that is around us. And may we know your laughter in creating. All this we ask in your name. Amen. You may be seated, and we're going to continue to pray together. I realized one of the things that I wrote down this morning for the prayer list, no, bring it up here, was the name of the Sunday, was the name of the man who was killed this week by ICE. Lorenzo Salgado, and I even practiced Arrojo, I think is what it is. Arrojo, that's right. That's what it is. The statistics are at least 21 people have been fired on by ICE since January. 5 have been killed, and 3 of those have been U.S. citizens. So we need to keep his family in our prayers. Another unnecessary, they weren't even going after him. I mean, many of you saw this. He was not the one they were looking for at all. He just happened to be brown. And that's why they pulled him over, and that's why they decided to shoot. I hope we believe the eyewitnesses that were there, who were in the van and saw that, much like Renee and the other gentleman that was killed too, we're not using their car as a weapon or anything like that. We're standing up for other people and being faithful people. So let us gather together and let's pray. Loving God, we indeed come on this morning because you are a wild lover. You don't just do it in a way we expect. You don't do it at appropriate times. Anytime, anywhere, anyway. And God, please let us notice that. Let us be prepared to be embarrassed about how much you love us. And let us learn and be your embarrassing love in this world. God, for all the ways that the things in this world are wildly in love with each other and we just walk on by. Oh, forgive us and give us new eyes. For the times we said, oh, this isn't the right time or place. Forgive us. Because we are bent over. So many are bent over. And it doesn't matter what time, what place, love always frees. And we are called to be your people of that freedom. God, send us to be your wild lovers. And God, indeed, send us into this world because there is a lot of love that is needed. We think this morning for people in Gaza as the ceasefire means that bombs are still dropped. God, let us lift our voices on behalf of them wherever we can, however we can, and say, stop. Stop. We think of the people in Ukraine who also continue to need to defend themselves. God, may we truly work for peace with them. May we hold accountable those who refuse peace. Loving God, and in Iran, let us indeed be peacemakers. Let us work together so that all may live in peace. Gracious God, and right here, for Lorenzo's family and so many others, families that have been torn apart by violence that we are told is necessary. God, that's not creating. That just makes us sob. God, let us be your creative people. And let us learn from those who are teaching us new ways to create, to be people together. God, let our hearts be open. For all those we have spoken of, for those who amaze us being so generous with giving kidneys, for those that amaze us in their healing and their willingness to work hard every day, for those of us who we have loved dearly when we have lived and worked with them, and we now miss so dearly in their loss. God, aren't we lucky to have loved? Be with their families as their heartbreak is remembered in stories of happiness, of the time that they spent together and learned from one another and loved. God, in this amazing life that we have, may we be open to seeing things in different and new ways so that love can indeed be freeing. And hear us as we do that outrageous thing of joining our voices together. O birther of the cosmos among us, blessed be your creation. May your creation of kinship be reality here on earth. May we become more interested in building your kinship here and now than in waiting for it to come down from above. Let us share our bread with those who hunger. Let us learn to forgive as well as to receive forgiveness. Help us through the time of temptation, delivering us from all evil. For ours are the eternal blessings that you pour upon the earth. Amen. And let's stand together And let's sing, I've got peace like a river, joy like a fountain, love like an ocean. I don't think you really need your bulletins. Which means you can look up and sing. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. Cut off for love. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. So take all those things, peace and joy and love, and get them out of your soul and share them. Because that is what we're called to do in wild love in this world now and always. Amen.
Greed. Yes, it was. Edvard Greed.